Hello, welcome to the Daily Stoic conversation.
Hello.
Today is July.
Johnny.
I can say words.
I can say words.
July 11th. Welcome. And the topic for today is the startup of you.
The startup of you.
Yeah.
Okay. The startup of you. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. Epictetus says, "But what does Socrates say? Just as one person delights in improving his farm and another his horse, so I delight in attending to my own improvement day by day."
Does that resonate with you in some way?
The attending to my own improvement day by day. Yeah, that resonates.
Attending to my improvement day by day.
Yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with the idea of self-improvement at this point. Like, in the past, it's maybe felt like fueled by me feeling bad about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the core, there's like this, I don't like something about myself, and that's why I'm motivated to change. And I don't know, something in the last couple of years, maybe just by exposing myself to more and more of this and like seeing these little shifts day after day, the idea of improvement is like a much more enjoyable idea in my mind.
Mm-hmm. So it's more enjoyable now than how it maybe used to be for you, like oh, I have to improve, like that sucks, right?
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
right? And versus now it's like the continuous improvement maybe is feeling more.
It's actually like exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. You say, oh wow, like I'm looking forward to it or something.
And maybe what it was before with the improvement was like I was sort of pissed off that I was the one that needed to change. I was wanting the other people or the situation to just be better for me so that I didn't have to grow and improve.
You didn't have to. So you didn't have to change essentially. So you would be like, hey, can everything else besides me change?
Right.
Yeah.
And then when it got to like, no, I need to change, it was like, oh, like that means I'm bad. That means that I'm not good. That means...
That's interesting how I saw your face like, oh, like I have to change. Oh.
Yeah, like it was...
Like it's painful or something, right?
Yeah. It was painful to be able to stomach that realization and to hold... Because when I stomached it, then it was like, well, now I have to feel what it feels like to feel bad towards myself. And I have to let that feeling just be in my system until it no longer is. But I can no longer try to push it away and say, well, I don't want to be the one to change because when I go to change, I have to deal with this bad feeling. So I don't want to do that. So can everything else around me please just change so I don't have to feel that?
And so this is how you're saying this is how you used to.
Yeah, and then I'm saying I can't pinpoint exactly where it shifted.
Where it shifted, but you can now see that it did shift a bit, right?
Yeah, to where improvement is like, well, duh, of course I need to be the one to change because that's the only thing I have control over.
Yes.
So, okay, let me control that thing, let me change, let me grow.
So maybe you wanting the other surrounding things to change, it comes from like not really deeply understanding that concept of like, oh, I can only change this thing.
Right.
And so like that's not there. That maybe that knowledge is maybe there in the way that like you know that you cannot do it, but you still end up somehow wanting to. Like you're still on the like, The Santa Claus exists.
Yeah, there is something
even
very.
Though you know it doesn't.
Yeah, like there's something very deep that knows, like, well, of course I can't change other people. Of course I can't change
so
this.
There is, so you
but
know
that's,
that.
But that's way buried. It's so buried that, like, it's not until something like this material kind of reminds me and shakes me out of it that's like, no, like, actually,
like
duh.
Slapped or something. Yeah.
I can only change myself, and why would I think that there would be a point in life where I would just be my best perfect version of myself and like locked into that without there being something after that?
Yeah.
And subconsciously, that's what I was I just wanted to get to a finished state, like a done state. I don't need to worry about my growth, my improvement, my career, my anything. Everything's my money, any of that.
Nothing.
No worries.
Worries,
it's all taken care of, and life is wonderful all the time from here on out.
From here on out, yes. Yeah, you wanted it to not go through that learning, because it's like hard, because it's full of failure maybe, and it's also all of this, and then the way you maybe like are used to deal with failure is by judging yourself after that or something, right? And it's like
judging myself.
I have this bad relationship with myself when I fail. Therefore I don't want to fail, therefore I don't want to learn, therefore I don't blah 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 blah, right? And so you're saying really like some of those things had to shift at some point for you, right? Into a place where you now not looking at it like that anymore. You look at it, maybe you are in some degree, maybe you are still kind of looking at it that way.
There's holdovers.
There are holdovers, but you see the majority of the time when there is a new thing coming up and you are like, like you might be more inclined of essentially saying, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing to go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great. So you seeing movement. You saw that movement, or you maybe not saw that movement, but you're now realizing that there has been a shift in how you kind of approaching it or something. Yeah. That's good. Let's celebrate that. You know what I mean? That's hopefully lifelong shift going forward. You know, of how it's how you look at it. Right.
And the failure is very much a connected concept in the whole self-improvement thing, because it did really require a restructuring of my relationship to failure, where before I thought like failure meant like I fucked up and that wasn't supposed to happen. Like it just felt like something was not going actually according to plan. Yes, and then I took that as a sign of like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this then, because I'm failing at it, and I'm not supposed to fail at it. I'm supposed to succeed at it.
Yeah, you're already supposed to.
The failure is proof somehow that I'm not cut out for it, or I'm not. Yeah, like, and
that's that relationship. The relationship to hard things that are not gonna go
coming easily
easy this first time or second time or 100th time.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And then just kind of like understanding that my new relationship to failure must be that I accept failure. And I almost even welcome it, because I know it's inevitable. And I welcome it through the lens of, what can I learn from this? Like, this is here to help me become better. And I only become better when I change. But how am I going to be motivated to change? Well, something has to hurt. Like, pain is such a brilliant motivator for that. And failure hurts like a son of a bitch. So it's like, hey, like, this is proof that like whatever you did, just it wasn't connected with all the other pieces here to like create the outcome you wanted. And like now it still sucks and I hate it. But I can usually recognize it. It doesn't feel so discouraging. It used to feel so discouraging, like I have to quit. And now it can feel like really terrible in my body. But it doesn't now create the feeling of I need to quit.
So like that reminds me of like you're learning snowboarding, right?
Ugh, yeah.
So like would you say now? I know it's summer. We're not going to ride, so it's a hypothetical, obviously, right? But would you say that you would also have this shifted view on that experience too? Like, oh, next time I'm gonna go snowboard, I'm gonna have this new view on. Oh, I'm gonna. Or is it now that's like, oh, it's not like I'm not on snowboarding.
I have this view, and I've always
Yes.
had this view on snowboarding because I keep coming back to it.
Of course,
So
you keep coming back, even though it's very hard.
The
and you kind of
mechanism
want to
to come back is there, but what mechanism is not there right now is like me feeling sorry for myself because I'm like going down, and it's like I don't get this. This is feeling like wonky. I can't feel like what my legs are doing. I can't feel this. I should be farther along by now. Oh, look at this person over here who's had less time on the board, but is just like enjoying themselves. Like they're laughing, and I'm sitting here like trying not to cry on a fucking mountain. So it's like, this is what I'm going through in the experience. And then it's like, it's not like later on I have rose-colored glasses. I'm like, that was great. Like, no, it sucked. It sucked.
But
somewhere inside, I'm like, but what mud can...
figure this out.
Yeah, like, it's like...
Yeah.
I don't need to figure it out, but it's sort of like, I can't...
Now you want to, because you set yourself on it or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanna, like I've tried it and I failed already enough that I will be very angry if I don't actually figure this out. Like the pain of not figuring it out now that you know how frustrating that is, and then you see other people just enjoying themselves like it's freaking awesome Sunday, right? So yeah, that's great.
Well, and it's like
you keep coming back.
It's not that I have to figure it out. It's just that, like, here's the thing: is I live a life where snowboarding comes up because of you, because of other friends that we have. It comes up, and so when it comes up, it's like, well, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be the person who hangs around the Airbnb all day, or who hangs out in the lodge? Or am I going to go up on this mountain and like just do the best that I can and feel like a freaking loser the whole day and feel sorry for myself basically for, 12 hours. Like, in 12 hours, not that we're snowboarding for 12 hours, but this sets in a 12-hour situation of
I feel bad afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you might come down from the mountain after 3 hours and for the next 11, whatever you said 12 hours. So for the next 9, you would have just psychological of like, I suck at this and all
right.
This,
so like, this is what I would call a holdover from my old way. And I'm not, and so like, there's still definitely a lot of holdovers, especially in areas that mean a lot to me, like with yoga, or in areas that I feel like I'm just really not good at and they're frustrating, like snowboarding.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's good to notice that, because then you get to play with it. When you notice it, you're like, like this is frustrating. Oh, I see. So frustration equals I'm probably learning something new, and I don't know. And I already thought that I
deserved to be better at this by now,
or I already knew this and it's not going, or this should come just quicker. Come on, right? Like these expectations are there, and so now you're like, oh, it's there, so I can actually, what is all this, or what is this? Oh, wow, I'm internally saying this thing, right? So you can kind of, just help it analyze it or something. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
cool. Do you want to read Mr. Ryan and see what he's got for us?
Let's do it. I love that you brought up the snowboarding thing.
Yeah,
because it is. It's like a sore spot.
Well, I'm just because because I'm also saying it in the way that, like, because you were talking about it in a way like, oh, something shifted and now I'm doing it like this, right? And it's like, something shifted and now you are doing it like this in all these other areas and you're noticing it, but it probably is not something like, oh, this is the line in the sand I shifted. Going forward, everything in my world is automatically going to be a learning experience and fun.
I didn't mean to say that like my
No.
attitude has become like this optimistic, always look at the bright side, here's my silver lining type of thing. Like in the moment, it is oftentimes still like very just the old program running, but the reflection that happens on top of it afterwards and the sense making that I go through, that's like, whoa, like, hey, you're like a 35-year-old person who can like make their own decisions and, you know, can like can decide if you want to learn something and deal with the setbacks. Like, you are this person, like, why are you crying right now? Like, this is like what happens when I'm going through like one of these episodes, you know? So it's like the sense making and the reflection that goes on top of it is now more according to this. And we'll see how the holdovers changed throughout my life.
Great. Yeah. And and all I'm saying is that it shouldn't really, it never does change like that. You know what I mean? Like it never changes.
Flip
like
out and lose their shit. Like
you're like you might say like, oh, I didn't flip out. Good for me. Going forward, I'll never flip out. It's like, no, you will probably flip out again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't make a promise.
But just that one not flipping out or the one noticing of that change, and it's like, oh, this is a learning experience instead of a frustrating. I don't want to do it. They should all change instead of me, right? Like that's such a wonderful win already. You know, just knowing that exists.
Well, let me put it this way. After the last snowboarding trip, I felt like a win was that like I had this like revelation that I was just like, well, like you should maybe just like get an instructor next time.
Yeah.
Like I've been out and I've had enough like wins, like small wins on the hill that it's like, and I've watched enough like tutorial videos that
and you don't
like,
have a bad habits right now. I mean, you know, like we tried to get, you know, I was trying to help you to like just get you up and running, but now 100%, like let's go get a.
But now it's like, hey, if I had an instructor, could they just tell me like tweak this 20% of things and you'll be performing 80% better and actually having fun on the hill?
Yep.
And like, this is not the type of idea that would occur to me normally.
Sure. Like getting a coach or something, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't know, it's just like a holdover from growing up and stuff. And like,
growing up and not have resources.
That's
coaches,
what
right?
it was.
So
like growing
like
up, it was like
get out there, do it,
figure it out on your own.
Yeah,
and
it's free.
Yeah, so there's sort of like this prejudice in there, but then it's like, hey,
then you're
just
like, wait, this is $100 or something.
Or even if it were $1,000, it's
sure.
I mean, not that 1,000 would hurt, but it's like, at least it would get me moving forward, so I'm not stuck in the cycle.
Yeah. Good. Looking forward to it. I could get some lessons too.
I know. Well, that's what I was thinking.
This is what I would like to do, is get somebody who is like not from the mountain. Like, oh, I'm your instructor from the mountain. No, like I want like somebody who's like in town, who's like a, you know, like a pro almost, and like come and ride with us on the hill and teach us the stuff. I mean, well, maybe, you want somebody who's educating.
Yeah.
Who's an educator who knows how to teach this stuff, right? Because there might be pros who's like, bro, just do it like this, yo.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, thanks, but that doesn't compute. Yeah. Cool.
Well, this YouTube channel is pretty huge, so I wouldn't be surprised if Sean White were watching.
Sean, hit us up when you're up in Tahoe. I mean, Mammoth, and you know we'll do some half pipe stuff. You know.
I won't, but maybe Ollie will.
Yeah, I'll ride at the bottom of it all the way through and be like, yeah, I was in the half pipe, bro.
With Sean White.
Right.
Okay. Ryan says, the rage these days is to start your own company, to be an entrepreneur. There is no question building a business from scratch can be an immensely rewarding pursuit. It's why people put their whole lives into doing it, working countless hours and taking countless risks. But shouldn't we be just as invested in building ourselves as we would be to any company? Like a startup, we begin as just an idea. We're incubated, put out into the world where we develop slowly, and then over time we accumulate partners, employees, customers, investors, and wealth. Is it really so strange to treat your own life as seriously as you might treat an idea for a business?
No.
Which one really is the matter of life and death? I mean, the thing that stands out the most for me is like he lists this thing like over time we accumulate partners, employees, customers, investors, and wealth. He's saying that in the context of a startup, but I think like that's also, I'm feeling like a similar thing of like this accumulation of like this connection with these people in this way and these people in that way, and all of that now being tied.
Friendships and relationships and all that stuff, like building.
Right, and like the quality of all of that is almost like a mirror of the work that I'm doing internally.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, we, like, there's this thing about, like, what is that saying? Like, you become the person who you surround yourself with or something,
Yeah, it's like, show me the 3 people you spend the most time with or something.
Then, yeah. And I'll tell you your future.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. What do you got?
That's it?
Me too.
Excellent.
Should I turn it off?
Turn it off. Turn off what?
The camera.
Well, no, I can do that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Well, you just looked comfortable.
I was very comfortable.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining today, and for those of you who are using this as an English lesson, I hope that we didn't talk too fast for you or say anything crazy, but we will see you here tomorrow.